Alright, so I saw Inherent Vice, and I have to be honest with you people, I didn't like it that much. So, Inherent Vice is a mystery slash comedy slash romance. It's very messy, and I don't even know how to describe the plot to you without it sounding like a complete mess. So I'll just skip the plot. So it has a lot of good acting and a lot of big stars and really colorful characters. And it's funny, and it has a lot of good moments, but in the end, it feels like the plot doesn't even really matter. Alright, now granted, our main character uses a lot of drugs throughout the movie, and so him being a druggie could account for the haziness of the whole movie. But at the same time, it doesn't really clue us in on it's supposed to be hazy and confusing. So you have to take it for what it is. And don't get me wrong, it's not so confusing where it's just like everyone will be completely lost. It does have a straightforwardness to it, but at the same time it just throws so many characters, so many coincidences, and so many connections that it gets so jumbled up that you just have to go with the flow and just let it take you where it goes and then be confused later on. Now, this movie is shot well, and like I said, it has good acting and good characters. It's just the story isn't all there, and it's very strange. Now, this is a very long movie, and while I was completely interested and I was going along for the ride, but at the point when there was about 40 minutes left of the movie, I paused it, looked at all the time I spent watching this movie, and this was like, I had gone through already an hour and 40 minutes, which is pretty much an entire average length film, and I started thinking and questioning, okay, up until this point here, this 40-minute left mark, what important things happened? And I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, so this whole point here, did it even really matter? And honestly, I can understand people arguing for it, but for me, it didn't feel like the movie mattered much at all. There was a lot of moments that felt like, okay, we got to this point, but okay, what was the whole point? There felt like there was no point to the movie, and I understand movies don't have to have a point, but this was a movie that felt so artsy and so it just felt like it wanted to make a point across, but it doesn't really have a point at all, and it's a bit of a jumbled mess. Now, looking back, there was a lot of moments throughout the film that it felt like there wasn't much going on, so they had to throw in some random thing to try to pique our interest, like a naked woman, or them taking drugs, or some absolutely outrageous funny moment. It was like, let's try to keep our audience, so this scene's not as well good, so let's throw in something to try to keep their interest, because they might be totally confused with the story, so let's throw this in there for kicks. And it felt like it was trying to trick me into feeling like this was an interesting and really good film. But honestly, I was fine watching it throughout the whole movie. I was fine watching the movie once, but ultimately, it's a movie that I will forget and won't care to watch ever again. So it's not a terrible, awful, bad movie. It's just one of those movies where, okay, I can say that I've watched it and I enjoyed it a little bit, but ultimately I'm not going to ever watch it again, right? So I have a special star rating for that, and that is 2 stars. So, yeah, Inherent Vice I didn't like as much. It was okay, but it's not one that I'll remember. It's not one that I'll want to watch ever again. And so, if you've seen Inherent Vice, what'd you think about it? Comment. If you haven't seen it, then, well, yeah, I don't know what other questions to ask. So this is Bruce Gifford, and this was just my opinion.